We're awaiting the start of the special Acton Agua Dulce Unified School District Board meeting, special meeting of the appointment of the provisional seat, board member seat, which is going to replace Mike Fox, who resigned from the board early. And I believe this is a one-year seat. I believe in 2022, there will be a regular election where I believe there might be 4 seats up on the board at that time for re-election. So this is a provisional seat. The 2 candidates this evening are Lester Mascon, a 5.5-year resident in Acton, whose children are at iLead Charter School in Agua Dulce. And I believe Mr. Mascon serves on the iLead school board. And the other candidate is Brianna Taxoni, a longtime member of the community, lived here all her life. She's worked in the school district at the various school sites. She has children in the school district that have graduated and are still in school here at the middle school and high school currently. Longtime members, has served on a lot of committees, has been very involved, volunteering, just very, very involved young lady, and mother of 6, I believe. And she is very involved in the community with Royal Pageant, Friends of Acton Park. She's everywhere. She's a longtime community member. So we'll see how it goes tonight. I do believe this appointment, they agreed to it a couple of meetings ago. Maybe 2 or 3 meetings ago, they agreed to have an appointment rather than an election. I think it was discussed that a special election would cost between $45,000 and $60,000, and I think it was decided that they would rather do an appointment at this time because of cost mainly, which is a little bit troubling only because at the last board meeting, I had inquired about how they were going to pay off the debt of $700,000 to the San Diego charter case, and they had said originally they were going to pay it in $90,000 increments over a period of time. And I asked about it at the last meeting. They were doing their budget, and so I couldn't find it on the budget. But someone from the district office did contact me after the meeting and told me it was actually listed in the warrant register, line item 1, from the last agenda, and that they decided to pay it in one lump sum. So with that being said, $700,000 is a lot of money that could have been put into our kids, but the other question is, the big question is, why did we pay it if we were not found criminally negligent? And I can't seem to get anyone to answer that, and some of the people that could answer that are no longer with the school district. So we are looking into those documents from the district attorney's office to see exactly why that's being paid out. And since no one on the school board will answer that question. And some of the questions that arise with that are, if we can afford to pay that out in one lump sum, why couldn't we have a special election and something so important? Serving on the school board is so important. The decisions made really affect the entire community. Whether you have children in the school district or not, having viable schools in a community affects everyone's property tax, everyone's homes, everyone's business. So it is very important. And I know $45,000, $60,000 is a lot for a special election, but then you see, like I said, the $700,000 payout in a lump sum, and it's concerning, actually, as a parent and a resident and a community member and a business owner. It is concerning that this happened, but it is for 1 year only, and we'll see what happens in November 2022 with I believe 4 seats up. It should be interesting. So we're waiting for this to start. It should be pretty quick since there's only 2 candidates. They've already filled out a questionnaire. And the questions were pretty basic, you know, how long you've lived in Acton. It was published. What qualifications do you have to serve on a school board, or what have you do in the community, experience, and I'm sure they'll go over those questions again, and then they'll make their decision. So the meeting shouldn't be more than 45 minutes to an hour.
Thank you. Tonight we're going to interview candidates for the Board of Trustees vacant seat. Can I get a motion to move this in? Jen, move it. Chad, second. Call for the vote.
Paul's Graff, aye. Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Ellie Jensen, aye. That's a 4-0 vote. Motion carries. Thank you. So tonight, the vast majority of California school boards are locally elected, and on May 13th, school board member Mike Fox resigned, leaving Acton-Aqua Dulce School District with a vacant seat. When a vacancy occurs, the remaining members of the board may order an election or appoint a board member to serve under the next regularly scheduled election in accordance with the law. So our board voted unanimously to appoint. So the next scheduled election is November of 2022, and tonight we have 2 candidates with us. We have Brianna Taxani and Lester Mascon, who have sent in applications to fill the vacant seat. Tonight we'll interview both candidates during the special board meeting. All discussion will take place in public, and each candidate will have 10 minutes to answer questions. So we'd like to thank both candidates for being here tonight and for their interest in serving the Board of Education in our community. So in order to be fair, the staff was deciding how to choose who would go first. So if you guys are good, we're going to flip a coin tonight to see who's going to go first. Do you have a coin? Perfect. I have one in my purse, but even better. Do you want to flip the coin?
Me?
Yeah.
Who's called?
All right, Brianna, do you want to be heads or tails? Heads. She wants heads. Heads, she'll go first, and it's tails.
Tails.
All right. Lester, thank you. Mr. Mescon. Yeah, Brianna, you have a choice to stay or wait in the other room. It's your choice.
I'd like to stay.
Yeah, you can. It's your choice. It's your choice. Both candidates get to choose. All right. So welcome, Mr. Mescon, and thank you for being here tonight and wanting to serve on the board. We have 8 questions for you this evening. Each board member will take turns asking a question. Each candidate is asked the same questions, and you will have 10 minutes to answer. I will let you know when we start the timer, and at the conclusion of both interviews, the board will have a discussion in public to fill the board vacancy. The appointee will be sworn in this evening. Are you ready?
Can you see the lights, Mr. Westphal? Point of order. Is that 10 minutes total collective for all questions, or 10 minutes per question?
10 minutes for the full interview.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Can you see the lights there?
So we'll put 10 minutes on the timer.
Okay.
Okay. You ready? Pardon me?
Ms. Kamal talking?
I believe so.
Our students are required to wear masks at the campus. I would suggest behaviors as board members will reflect what's imposed upon our students. Thank you. Next, are you ready?
Yes, we're
Let's rock
ready.
and roll. What do you see as the basic purpose of public schools? What is the role of the Board of Trustees in the fulfillment of that purpose?
We're tasked with creating an environment for the safe environment for kids to learn in and make sure they've got opportunity to kind of explore the different interests. So there's a question on the student, and just try to help them become good citizens and release them into society with as well prepared as we can make them. As a board member, we're the community members that are entrusted with, you know, kind of being a check and balance. Make sure all that happens well.
Thank you.
Very proud of in this district. What would you like to accomplish as a board member? Which is your highest priority and why?
I love our community. I'm proud of our community. We have a really good community to deal with. And with our student schools and the different opportunities here, I think that pulling all that together and continuing to do all that, all the different events we have, I think the public one I'm most proud about for the school. Priority-wise for me, I think my core competence is going to be in financial management, planning, budgets, growing, being competitive, recruiting, those areas I'd like to focus on supporting.
What would you like to accomplish as a board member?
I think our budget would be working on our budget, dependency on charters, just making sure we've got a good path forward. I'd love to see our school ratings improve so we can attract more people to our community. I think that's would be helpful for our district.
As a trustee, what do you see as your primary purpose or primary role? How would you fulfill that role, both as an individual and as a member of the governing board?
And my primary role is to carry out the will of the constituency and the community. We're here to make sure that happens in this position.
Right to the next one. Describe a good board meeting. What are objectives of a good board meeting?
I get a good board meeting. We can, everyone's well prepared and they've read the material in advance and we all understand what we're there to do. And not entirely sure how this board meetings work, but the other ones I'm part of, you have an opportunity to kind of pose questions in advance of things that you'd like to flesh out prior. Stay on the schedule and get through the topics and have a good discussion over the different issues that they're needed. Everyone should have the opportunity to express themselves as well. I think that works best if everyone's looking at material and things.
Ready? What would you do if you believed administrators had not provided you with accurate and complete information for making a decision?
I would move to remove it from the agenda so that we could further get the information needed to do that.
Thank you.
Please summarize the strengths you would bring as a board, as a member of the board.
I think big budgets, financial management, make tough decisions, exploring competitive ways to bring kids to districts. I think a lot of my background is business, so there'll be a lot of areas where we'll be able to provide value.
What is your view of school choice for parents and students who live in our community?
I think school choice is important. My own kids go to the Ivy League charter school in Aadusd. That's important that we have that. I think with the recent laws, obviously we have to keep our own district healthy and forward as well. So there's going to be a tough balance there.
And are you willing to resign from any conflicting currently held board position?
That's correct, yes. And that is your point.
Thank you so much. That's our last question.
Yeah.
So you can either stay in this room, you can wait in the other room, it's your choice. hold on a second, Andrea, we want to write it down. We're gonna, yeah, we're gonna write down the. So, this is Sean. Thank you. So welcome, Ms. Carsoni, and thank you for being here tonight.
Here's your lights over here.
Oh, I have to read this in.
Let me just-
Thank you for being here tonight and wanting to serve on the board. We have 8 questions for you this evening, and each board member will take turns asking a question. Each candidate is asked the same questions, and you will have 10 minutes to answer it. We will let you know when we start the timer, and at the conclusion of both interviews, the board will have a discussion in public to fill the board vacancy. The appointee will be sworn in this evening. Are you ready? Yes. Okay, Mr. Superintendent on the clock.
Good evening. What do you see as the basic purpose of the public schools? What is the role of the Board of Trustees in the fulfillment of that purpose?
The basic purpose of a public school is to educate our students emotionally, socially, and scholastically. We are providing our community and our future with students that are ready to take on an adult role in our society. So we're preparing them for the next step of their education and their life. The role of our school board in that situation is to support our staff, to support our district office, to support our teachers, our classified, to support our students and our families in that process of education. Our school board is responsible for are fiscally responsible and personally responsible for the education of our kids. Education. Did I answer all of the questions?
Thank you.
That was like a 3-part thing. Did
Thank
I
you.
answer them all? Thank you.
What are you proud of in this district? What would you like to accomplish as a board member? Which is your highest priority and why?
What I'm proud of in our district, we have incredible students, we have incredible families, and we have incredible staff. I grew up in this district. I've lived in Acton for 40 years. Being involved in sports and in, going outside of our district and being involved in other, seeing how other schools and other districts are, I know that our students and our families and our staff, our teachers are top-notch, with incredible heart. They deal with a lot, being from a small district, and they always overcome. They always impress me when we're out and about at, whether it's a football game or a field trip. Our students are top-notch. I'm very proud when we go out and about in other communities. So I would say I'm most proud of our students as far as what's in our district.
What would you like to accomplish?
What I would like to accomplish as a board member, and even as a community member for our school, I feel like our school is very underrepresented. I feel like our school could use some branding. Our school could use some, I don't think PR is the right word, but that's what's coming to mind right now. We need to let people know what our school is and how great our school is. I feel like out and about, we're still kind of the hidden gem, and I would love for our school to not be hidden, just a shining star.
Third part, what's your highest priority to become a board member?
So my highest priority as a board member would be to support our staff, and to bring students back to our schools to have our ABA. I feel like there's so many things that we could be doing that we can't because our ADA is very low. And it's dropping. And I feel like there's a lot of things that we could be doing to bring our own kids back. And not only bring kids from other places in, but our kids that have left, we need to retain those kids. We have a huge homeschool population. I feel like there's a lot of outside homeschools. If we had a homeschool program through our district where the kids, not just, we have Apex through the high school. If we could expand on that, and retain those kids that are homeschool kids that want to come back, and they can be part of our sports, they can go to our prom, they can go to our field trips. I feel like that would be a huge thing to bring our kids that are doing Borman and K through 12 and all of these other homeschool programs. So that would be one of my major things, is raising our EDA.
As a trustee, what do you see as your primary purpose or primary role? How would you fulfill that role, both as an individual and as a member of the governing board?
As a trustee, my primary purpose would be to support our students. Our students are number one. They are the reason why all of us are here. They're the reason that our staff is here. Our students are number one, so my primary purpose in everything that I would do would be with my students at heart, their best interest at heart. How I would do that, I would think how every decision that I make and every move that I make, how are our students benefiting from this? That would be my thought process and my driving force. Is how is this going to benefit our students? How is this going to benefit our families? How is this going to benefit our school district and our community?
Describe a good board meeting and what are the objectives of a good board meeting?
So a good board meeting starts before the board meeting. A good board meeting starts by being well informed, making sure that we have all of the information that we need to have, asking the questions of things that we don't know, studying any material that we need to study before we walk into this room. A good board meeting, all of us would be able to share our concerns, our thoughts, respectfully, and be able to communicate amongst each other and to our community. And a good board meeting, we would leave here knowing that each one of us did what we had to do for the best of our students. As long as we're doing what's for the best of our students and the best of our school, and we can walk out of here with our heads held high, that's a good board meeting.
What would you do if you believed administrators had not provided you with accurate and complete information for making a decision?
If I felt like I didn't have all of the information, I wouldn't feel comfortable voting. So I would ask during the meeting if there was a way, ask the questions of the administrator and try to get all of the information. I would, if it just wasn't possible during that meeting, I would hope that we can have an open and honest conversation, and our school administrator could provide us with that information. But if I felt that I didn't have enough information to make a vote, I would ask to table that vote until the next meeting, and ask for the information. And then maybe I could go during, in the middle of the meetings in that 2 weeks, I could go research as well and do my homework as well.
Thank you.
Please summarize the strengths you would bring as a member of the board.
So I feel like I would bring a unique perspective to the school board. I have been in the community for a long time. I have been around a lot of our students for years. Having the background of a parent, a couple years ago as a PTO member, we did I ran Family Fun Day at Meadowlark for a couple years. I was on the library more recently, I was an employee working in the front office. That is a whole new perspective when you're able to actually interact with parents and interact with students and see where the needs are and see where our strengths are. And then also serving as the CSEA president. When I was years ago as a 20-something, I was the CSEA treasurer. And then I took a break for a while, and when I came back, I was involved with CSEA, most recently as the CSEA president. And that brings a unique perspective to the board. And while I'm not involved in CSEA currently, I do feel like that knowledge is something that I could bring to the board that the board doesn't have at this time.
What is your role, what is your view of school choice for parents and students who live in our community?
As a mom and as a school employee and as a community member, I do realize that there are students that do need a separate setting or a different kind of setting. I do think that school choice is extremely important.
Yeah, that's the
I stopped talking, right?
Thank you. Okay. I'll make a motion for Brianna Taxoni to be our next school board trustee. Does anyone want a second? You're going to second? Call for the vote?
Paul's no.
Ken Wadsworth, no.
Kelly Jensen, yes. So what is that, 2-2? Does anyone want to make a motion for Luscombe to be the next board trustee? Motion, and we'll see about. I'll make a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I'll put the vote.
Paul's aye.
Ken Wadsworth, no.
Kelly Jensen, no. So that's a 1-3 vote. All right, so now we have a tie. So I'm not sure. You know, Mrs. Shaw. Do you know,
Madam President,
Yes.
I mean, that
Attorney?
we've afforded the opportunity for members to consider both candidates. And now I think it's time that you open up for discussions amongst board members without just comments, and just discussions about what we need to do here tonight. And then at such time that you think it's appropriate, you can.
Yep.
We can put 10 minutes on to discussion if you want, whatever the time frame is. And then you ask to do another round, for another vote, if there's a motion, and then we go again.
Okay, any discussion?
I have nothing.
I have nothing to add.
The only comment I have is that we have, as a board, we've elected to appoint rather than to go for a special election. And that was primarily based on spending a substantial amount of money that was going to be taken away from the general fund to go ahead and do this with having a special election in November. We chose not to do that. We chose to appoint. We opened it up for candidates. We have 2 interested parties. Now, the onus is on us to fill the position, because it's my understanding that we need to collectively come together and choose one of the two candidates that did that. We don't have the option not to choose. And I remind my colleagues that this is a one-year assignment, and we're going to be asking them to fulfill their duties in the best interest of our students and our community for 1 year. The seat will be at an election next November to fulfill the remaining 2 years of the vacant seat. So this is a 1-year appointment that we're asking for them to do the work, to do what's required, to participate, to become familiar with the Brown Act, all of the rules and all the restrictions of conversation, confidentiality, all the things that we've already done. They're going to be quick studies to meet the obligations, and they have 1 year to do that. And then if they choose to run for election, they can submit their papers in July or whatever it is of next year to submit for the election. And so that's only comment that.
So we have two people in front of us, and this is, I think, quite important that we got another board member, so we don't have a split vote. If we owe it to our students and our families, like you're saying, to figure out who we're going to appoint this evening.
So here's my comment. What was the vote call?
Pardon me?
What was the vote call on each candidate?
For Brianna, it was the tax on it was a 2-0.
Or split 2-2?
2-2, excuse me. Yes, 2-2.
And Mr. Mason, or whatever his name was?
That's gone.
Yes.
Was it 2-2?
It was a 3-1.
I'm not understanding the issue.
Wait a minute. Quick correction.
Let's go back over the vote. Chad, were you a no for
No, for Ms. Collins.
You were no, right? Yes. So
I was a yes. One more time, let's do the call.
Yeah.
Falsgraf, yes.
Chad Wadsworth, no.
I voted no.
I voted no.
So it's a 2.
I'm not understanding the problem.
So, okay. We just want to make sure that we've flushed this out. So
both candidates have received 2 votes.
No.
Neither candidate
One
has received 3.
candidate.
he had one.
Candidate got 1 vote.
Lester Mascot has 1, and Brianna has 2.
Again, I'm not understanding the problem.
So we have a split vote: 2 no and 2 yes.
Neither candidate was able to succeed and get 3 votes. That's the issue.
3 yes votes.
3 yes votes.
I must have went to school in a different place than you all.
Meaning,
Somebody had more votes than the other one.
one had 3 no, 1 yes. The other
Yeah,
one
I'm
2
familiar with math. So again, I'm not seeing the problem.
There has to be a majority vote for one of the candidates. And it wasn't, it's only a 2-2.
Yeah, I know, but I think because we have to confirm because it's a split vote. We're checking.
But they have a president that
you wish to move to take a short recess?
Yeah.
Let's not have any discussion during the recess, please.
We'll take a 10-minute recess. No discussion. We'll go to election. So we'll call one more time for the vote for Brianna Taksani. A motion was to appoint Brianna Taksani. So we'll call around one more time for the vote.
You're calling me last, please.
Calling you last.
Yes, please.
Brianna Taksani.
I make a motion that, I would like to have the vote for Mr. Mascon first, please.
Okay. We can have a vote for
We have
Lester
a motion
Mascon.
that someone's
On the
nominated.
motion, yeah. You want the motion to appoint Lester Mascon for the vacant seat.
Do we have a second?
Can we get a second?
Was it, I mean,
Do I have a second or no? This is a matter of order. Do I have a second?
No.
So let the record show the Fallsgraf moved to cycle through Lester Mascon one more time. The motion was not seconded.
I make a motion to appoint Brianna Taksani, vacant seat for the Aadusd Justice School District.
That's it.
Call for the vote.
Fallsgraf, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, no.
Didn't vote in yes.
Billy Jensen, yes. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
3-1.
3-1, sorry. Thank you, Mr. Fallsgraf, for making the correction. Okay, Brianna Taksani, we're going to swear you in this evening. Mrs. Shaw will swear you in. We'd like to thank Lester Mascon as well. Thank you. Okay, yes.
Yes, I mean,
Just to raise your right hand.
raise your right hand. I, Brianna Taksani, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Congratulations.
Thank you. Go ahead and take a seat. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. So calendar, we have a board meeting tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. And then with that, I will call to adjourn this meeting.
President,
Yes, go ahead.
To remind if staff can make sure Mr. Taksoni has a working copy of the Brown Act. So she has that to prepare yourself about procedures for tomorrow's meeting, so you understand.
Thank you, Mr. Ferguson.
Along with any support documents.
It's already ready.
Any support documents that it needs to.
Our wonderful secretary has it already for you.
She's on it.
She's on it. So thank you, Mr. Ferguson, for the reminder.
President,
Yeah.
point of order, since Ms. Taxoni is taking my spot. She will occupy my spot in order. You understand what I'm saying? That means here. That means your rotation that way. If you're elected, the next time you run, you will move that way. We cycle the presidency annually.
Yes, thank you.
So I'm not interested in you being over here and then waiting another time to move into Mr. Wadsworth's position if you're elected again. And that would be the clerk, which is a very important position that signs everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Foster. Any other comments? Thank you. So we're going to make a motion to adjourn at 7:15 p.m.